Dude, it was so funny because I started this live thing. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear me on the live? Did you see me live though?
Working on that.
Okay, somebody's here. Hi, Jordan. You got audio. Yay! Oh my God. Okay, I think it's working. We're good. Okay, first of all, let me say sorry because the audio was not working. I wish that you guys, I was on the phone when it went live, and I wish that you could hear it because it was one of those Social Security like scams. And I was like, this is perfect because I was about to go live and they called me and I was like, I'm just going to put you on speakerphone. And I got through to like the main boss behind the scam. And they asked for my Social Security number, which obviously I didn't get. I said my name was Bernard. That's the first name that came to my head. And I gave him like an all fives Social Security number, which threw him for a loop. Anyway, I would have kept it going. Was I not like bamboozled by the audio section of this live cast? So thank you for hanging out. People from all over, Turkey, Belgium, what's up? Hi from your night shift with the ghost emoji. What is your night job? This is crazy. Thanks for being so patient with me. Again, ironic that I'm in the studio and I couldn't figure out the audio for this fucking live thing. There were questions in the other window that got closed out. I'm trying to see if I can remember some of them. What's my favorite song to perform live? On the new album, there's a song called Girl. It's about my daughter, and it's my absolute favorite thing to play live. And it gets me every time. Love that song. I also love Fear of the Water and Where's My Love? The War. I never really get to play The War live, and that's always fun to play live, even though it's like really high to sing. And yeah, so it's kind of a challenge. Will I ever release the instrumentals of your album, of my album? Yes, I think I will. They exist, and I've done that before with songs, so I think we'll do that. And secret, I've been working on some instrumental music so babies can fall asleep to it. If you're a little baby and you're listening, get ready to sleep. What do you do if you get nerves before a performance? Well, I make sure the microphone works. That usually helps with the nerves. I also like to drink whiskey, but that's more for like, if you've been to a show, you know that I like to do like a question and answer period, and whiskey sometimes helps that come together and make it fun for everybody. Not like drunk, but definitely a little bit like loose, so I can be on my toes. Where's My Love got you back into piano? Where are you most excited? That's awesome, by the way. Where are you most excited to go on tour? Let's see. I'm really excited for Outside Lands. That's a festival in San Francisco. I'm very excited for Pink Pop. That's the next festival coming up in the Netherlands. I mean, festivals are like my favorite thing to attend as well as to play at. So I'm excited for all the festivals this summer. See you in Copenhagen. Yes. Last time I was there, it was cold. I think it'll be warmer this time. I'm calling it now. One day we'll see a wasted Simmel crying on stage. There's a pretty, like, I wouldn't say less than 5% chance of that happening at some point. And maybe not sloppy drunk, just sloppily crying. What did I think of the festival in Groningen? I'm going to screw up that word, but it was the big freedom like festival, and it was amazing. I thought it was great. It was a little cold. I got to see Tom Walker. He was awesome. Loved that festival. Rock Werchter in Belgium. That's like the biggest one in Belgium, right? I'm excited to come through for that. Are you coming to Finland? Not yet. I really want to visit Finland, and I've never been yet, so it would be awesome. I mean, this project has taken me to countries and cities I've never seen, so I want to keep adding to that list. I want to go to South America. I want to go to Australia. Love to visit the Middle East. Yeah, Central America. I'd love to be in all those places. Why do I like performing in Netherlands so much? Well, I love the Netherlands as a country in general, but that's the first place I ever played a concert. So sort of by nature, that was the place that we kept coming back to and building that audience. And it's also one of the first radio stations that ever started playing Where's My Love. So I went there often in the beginning. My favorite artist is probably Jeff Buckley. of all time. But I grew up listening to like Smashing Pumpkins, Radiohead, going back further like Simon and Garfunkel, Tom Petty. I'm a fan of the Beatles, but I always feel like when the Beatles come up in conversation, especially with other musicians, there's like a lot of pressure to say like the Beatles are God, and go in deep on all the Beatles material. I know like the greatest hits, which I mean there are like 30 of, so I feel like I know the Beatles quite well, but they never come up to my mind when people ask me who my favorite artists. My opinion on Phineas and Billie Eilish. Big fan of both of them. I think that their brains together are something really special. And then, of course, each of them as individual artists are very good too. Her new album is amazing, and the song he just released is really, really pretty. I like it because it's dark, it's grimy, it's minimalist. There's great tones and textures, good lyrics too. I can't believe she's so young. Crazy. Who's someone I'd like to work with or collaborate with? Probably Billie Eilish and Phineas, which hopefully will happen soon. SYML. What does SYML mean? Classic. SYML means simple in Welsh. I found out that I was Welsh pretty late in life in terms of my heritage, and picked the name SYML because, well, first of all, Welsh is a really crazy, hard to read and pronounce language, and SYML was pretty simple and easy to get. But I liked that it literally means simple, and that has been a goal of mine musically and in life, to maintain simplicity, which is harder than easier said than done. What's up, Indonesia? Come here, please. I will one day. What does the last line of Girl mean? Know that your scars are my favorite part. That last line means, to my daughter who went through a surgery, specifically for her, scars can be something that people are scared of showing because they don't find them beautiful and they want to hide them. But in that song, I talk about how challenges and literally these battles that we go through as individuals, and for her, it's the surgery, their only purpose is to make you stronger. And you'll come out the other end, and rather than seeing a scar from that battle as something to be hidden or ashamed of, I think it's a mark of pride and a mark of strength. And that's my favorite part. One of my favorite things about my daughter is that she's 2 years old. She's been through this and is stronger because of it. So it's a reminder to her as she grows up to not be ashamed of those scars. Why am I a cynic? Yeah, in the song Clean Eyes, I talk about being a cynic, and I talk about how my wife is not a cynic and about how that's a good balance. I've been a cynic because for a lot of reasons. The biggest one I can think of is I didn't really grow up in a family that went to church or had any sort of like big worldview other than be kind to others, be respectful, help each other out, understand what privilege is, and understand why some people are privileged and others are not, and what you can do as a human being to promote equality. And I think that I became a cynic first when I first went to a church. And for me, that was a Christian church. And I spent a lot of time in that community for some of my young adulthood. And that unfortunately really gave me a negative taste in my mouth. It's on the flip side, it's been a really inspirational thing to write about. Not necessarily having faith in God or whatever that is, but more how we interact and treat each other during our time in the natural world. And I'm not saying I don't believe in anything supernatural. I think that a lot of what drives us as humans is supernatural, something we can't even wrap our minds around. But I'm sure it's no surprise to a lot of you that some of the most divisive moments in our society today, but especially in the last thousands of years, have been because of religion. And I'd say that is my number one cause for cynicism. That was a long, heavy answer this soon into a live cast. Do I pick my gig venues myself? So there is like a team of people, booking agents, managers, and lovely people that I have come to know and trust over the years, that we all choose strategically where to go, where to play, and when to do that. My favorite book. Favorite book right now is a book I still haven't finished. I'm bad about finishing books, called Sapiens, and it's like it tries to give like a brief history of humans and where we came from and differences between us. It's a pretty mind-blowing book. How do I feel about reaching 4 million listeners on Spotify? Anytime my music connects with people outside of like my family and friends, it's pretty much like mind blowing. The fact that I can write this ultra personal song and have somebody across the world find it and make it their own, and then come to a show and sing those words back to me. Not because I'm so special, but because that music that we share together is like that. It comes off of Spotify in the digital world, and then it's like in the same room looking at each other. That is like a crazy level of human connection that I never thought I'd really experience. What is the story behind Bed? Bed is about, 99% of my songs are about love, and that one is about my wife. And it's supposed to be this intimate song, right? Like we're in bed with each other, like you're in bed with your significant other or a rando person that you just met on Tinder or at the club, as the kids say. Either way, you're in bed with somebody, and that is a super intimate place. And rather than be like overthinking it or overly adult about the whole thing, I think there's something really innocent and beautiful about intimacy, and to sort of get back if you've been together for a lot of years, or like maintain that excitement that you have right when you're with somebody for the first time, to try to keep that a sacred and lasting feeling. Is your daughter your biggest fan? I have a son and a daughter. They're 4 and 2, and when I take them to daycare in the morning when I'm home, recently they've been requesting songs, and so the song Connor, which is on the album, is sort of inspired by my son, and the song Girl is obviously inspired by my daughter. So when we get in the car, it's usually there's like 3 songs before we get to daycare, and one is like a rotating pop song of the moment. The one right now is Panic at the Disco, Hey Look Ma, I Made It, which is a jam. And then we get switch off between her song and his song. So we basically just have a rotation of a pop song, and then there are 2 songs that I wrote. But I'd say they're both my biggest fans. Let's see. Which version of Wildfire do I like better? So I just started playing with a drummer, and when we play that one live with a drummer, it is so fun, because it sort of like goes off at a certain point, and it's like really hard not to have this like dorky grin on my face when we play that live. So I'd say right now the full version, the version that we're touring with for the summer and the fall with drums, is my favorite version. Do I listen to 21 Pilots? I like 21 Pilots. I think Darren from Mute Mouth, which is a band that I grew up liking when I was in school, produced their last record. I think it's really good. So who is Connor? Connor's not my son. My son's name is Finley, and Connor was supposed to be my name before I was adopted. And I've always known that about myself. And when I was little, I wanted all my friends to call me Connor because I thought it was a cooler name than Brian. Still think it is. But yeah, it was sort of in that spirit of naming a child and what that is for our identity. And the song is really about becoming a parent and about how I was not prepared to be a parent. Is the bird hard for you to sing? Kinda. I mean, the bird has like kind of some low notes and then some really, really high notes. And I think for me anyway, the falsetto high notes are usually easier to hit because it doesn't take a ton of breath. It does take breath, but it's not like straining your voice as much as like full voice for me and how I sing. So I really like playing the bird. What's up, Brazil? I will say Brazil has like the most amount of people active on social networks that request me to come to Brazil. Like I always see come to Brazil, come to Brazil, come to Brazil. So I guess I gotta come to Brazil at this point. Dane Harker, shout out. Hell yeah. I feel like I should watch. I mean, sorry, watch. I feel like I should play a song. I'm gonna do a song. This is a new guitar I got in Seattle. It's a Martin D28, and it's quickly becoming my favorite instrument. I wonder what happened to that Social Security guy that called me. Okay, so let's see. I think I'm gonna do. Let's see. I'm only gonna do a couple songs. This is good. This is good. This is good. You're giving me ideas. This is good. I'm seeing a lot of Fear of the Water. Seen some Break Free. I'll do. Let's see. I'll do Fear of the Water first. Oh my gosh, gets blown it up. Let's do it. Fear of the Waters first, and then I'll do some more. Some ancient call that I answered before. It lives in my walls, and it's under the floor. If this was meant for me, why does it hurt so much? And if you're not made for me, why did we fall in love? Oh, oh, oh. A knock at my door. I thought I was alone, unaware of what I thought I needed. I dropped like a stone. If I'm not mistaken, then I was the last to know. And if you return for me, I never want for more. You're dislocated, don't be like that. Ain't smart when you dive in, like you're never coming back. So hold my body, yeah, hold my breath. See your face when I black out, I'm never coming back. You're dislocated, don't be like that. Be smart and diving, like you're never coming back. So hold my body, yeah, hold my breath. See your face when I black out, I'm never coming back. You're dislocated, don't be like that. Be smart when you're diving, like you're never coming back. So hold my body, yeah, hold my breath. See your face when I black out, I'm never coming back. I'm the There it is. Microphone set too high. Good to know. Let me turn it down. Mr. Sandman. I haven't done Mr. Sandman in a minute on guitar. Is this volume okay? Can you guys still hear me? I turned it down. I answered who I want to collab with. Yeah, Billie Eilish all day. Try not to turn it off this time. Thanks, Delilah. Okay, let's see. I'll do break free. Switch it up a little bit. Need a pick? Need some coffee? How you guys doing? You guys watching at work right now? Do you have real jobs? If you're in Europe, I guess you're like going to bed soon. But let's see. Here's break free. Body perfection like a punch in the face. Why don't you sit down closer to me? I'm talking sex, religion, politics, and stereotypes. You know I could make you weak in the knees. But when I come home late at night and I'm all alone, I can't sleep. I can't break free. I can't break free. I can't break, even if it's killing me. I can't break free. I can't break free. Keep it simple, honey. Don't think too much. You know we don't care what you believe. I'm just a closeted misogynist in love with myself. Don't be mad, it's everything you could dream. I can't hardly hold my shit together. I need relief. I can't break free. I can't break free. I can't break, even if it's killing me. I can't break free. I can't break, even if I wanna be free. I can't break free. I can't break, even if it's killing me. I can't break free. I can't break. Ooh, child, tell me, can you hear me crying in the night? Oh, ooh, child, heaven's got me down here fighting for my life. Oh, I don't wanna hold this any longer. I'm coming clean. I can't break free. I can't break free. I can't break, even if it's killing me. I can't break free. I can't break, even if I wanna be free. I can't break free. I can't break, even if it's killing me. I can't break free. I can't break free. This is great. Now I need to do the French part in Animal. Funny story about that. So in the new song Animal, it has a poem that I wrote, but it's in French. And originally when I was writing it, I was like, I don't want to read this. So I typed it into Google Translate and had like a female French voice read it. And it turned out, I like held the microphone up to the computer speaker, and it sounded all like robotic, like a train station announcement or something. But I loved how it turned out. Anyway, when we were recording the real thing, we just got somebody to speak French, and it turned out better. But it's a really sweet poem about, so my wife and I grew up in the same small town outside of Seattle, and there was this field that is now houses. But I know that we both like grew up playing in that field. And again, it's like going back to that childish, in the good ways, childish understanding of the world, and seeing everything through a kid's eyes. Let's do Girl, because I love it. Do I prefer piano or guitar to perform with? Probably piano, but my piano is upstairs, and I would have to take you up there. But maybe another time. Maybe next time. I just got a piano. It's from 1939. Little baby grand piano. It's awesome. Have you guys seen the commercial that I posted that this song's in? It's a Swedish telecom company, which you wouldn't think would have like a really touching commercial, but they have this commercial about these two girls who are friends and move away from each other, and it's like a minute long, and it's like an epic movie. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna do Girl. Girl, perfectly hurt, broken and hurt, soft and asleep in the morning gray. Shake off the night and don't hide your face. The sun lights the world with a single flame. I want you to see this. I want you to see this. Today and all every day, I'll wear your pain. Heal when I can in your troubled mind. Sometimes our bodies will hurt for some time, and the beauty in that can be hard to find. I want you to find it. I want you to see this. I want you to see this. So run, wake up and run, my little one. I wanna tear down these walls that can't hold you inside. Rip out the cords and uncover your eyes. We'll make our escape in the dark and light. I need you to see this. Oh, you'll see the world. You'll come to learn that falling in love is a strange work of art. All of your battles will shape who you are. And know that your scars are my favorite part. I want you to know this. Thanks for listening to this. Good night, Ishan. I can maybe do one more if you guys are down. We can do Wildfire. Are there any last minute questions before I do that? I'll do Wildfire and then we'll call it. But this was fun. If you were here at the beginning, sorry I couldn't figure out my microphone. And I'm sorry you missed the spam call from the Social Security Department. It was real fun. My kids are good, Audrey. Thank you. I love the song Fall in Love. Can you do that next? That is a Barcelona song, and I haven't played that for many years. I'm glad you like it. Why did I get into music? Because I wasn't smart enough to be a veterinarian, which is what I thought I wanted to do. But for real, all my mentors growing up were my music teachers. And that's why I got into music to become a teacher. And then I ended up starting a band and pursuing that. And here I am as SYML. Taylor Swift covers anytime soon. Yeah, man. I mean, I'm ready for that new album. I don't know what I think about the one she did with the guy from Panic at the Disco. It just kind of sounds like everything else she does. But I'm ready for the record. Final question. Do you make the melody or the lyrics first? Kind of simultaneous, but I'd say music comes before. Like I'll just have a bunch of lyric ideas and melody ideas on my phone. And when I'm in the studio, which is here, by the way, so this used to be like a way different room in the house. And then with the help of some friends, I've turned it into a studio. And I've sat on that couch behind me one time. And it was when I was hiding from my family because I was hungover and I slept on that couch. I forget what I was answering. Oh, yeah. So I basically just simultaneously work on music and lyrics at the same time. I think that's kind of how most songwriters do it. Software do I use for recording music? I'm in Pro Tools for all the other musicians out there. That's what I learned in. It's what I'm fastest at. But I know people love Logic and Ableton more than Pro Tools, but I'm just a Pro Tools guy. I'm excited to see you guys out on the road and over in Europe and in the States too. And if I haven't come to your city, I hope that I do soon. And it does actually mean something when you guys say, come to your city, because it gives me and the team of folks I work with a good idea of where I should go. So thank you for requesting coming to different cities. Studio One, yeah, I've heard that that's a good piece of software. What? Okay, I'm gonna do Wildfire unless there's any undying questions I haven't seen. Come to Brazil. I'm telling you guys, Brazil. Come to Reno. No, don't. Wait, Reno sucks. Are you from Reno, Eve? Favorite place to record and write a song? Where I live in Seattle, there are a bunch of islands in the Puget Sound, which is the ocean right next to us. And there are a bunch of islands that I've retreated to at different times to write music. And that's really, it reminds me of Norway. It's epic and beautiful and a really inspirational place to write. But I also like writing in my little cave down here. It can get really spooky and vibey down here. Inspiration mostly comes from my family and friends, people I love, people I'm confused by, people I'm amazed by, always people. But also internally, like I write a ton of songs that are about the different identities in me. Midwest. Don't worry, Midwest. Those dates are coming soon. Did I watch Eurovision? I did not. I'm sorry. I just had to do like a marathon catch up on Game of Thrones, which I just finished yesterday. So if anybody wants to talk about that, I'm all ears. I don't have a favorite joke, Bente. I hope I'm saying your name right. My opinion about Game of Thrones. I was entertained the whole time by Game of Thrones. I'm not in the camp of people who get mad about how it's ending or ended at this point. Yeah. I mean, I don't want. We shouldn't do spoilers here. See, if I hadn't watched it yesterday, I'd be upset now. And there are probably people who haven't seen it. Okay, I'm gonna wrap this up. This is 35 minutes. Let's do Wildfire and then call it good. Thank you guys for. This is weird having a conversation with myself, to be honest. But thank you very much for engaging with the questions. I love this part of it. Okay, you can talk about this really quick. How do I combine my work with family? Not easily and not gracefully. Luckily, I have a very graceful partner who navigates this with me. And being gone sucks. Like, it sucks for my kids. It sucks for my wife. It sucks for me. But it's a season of life that we know I am in right now, and we are pursuing it. And luckily, they get to come with me on my next Europe trip, which I'm really excited about. I'm excited to show my kids something outside of what they know. And it'll be good for multiple reasons, but we'll all be together, which is the best. So let's do Wildfire. Call us good. I could definitely stay here and answer questions for a lot longer, though. Darling, please take my hand. Please get up, rise to stand. I can't be the one to sing your song, 'cause I believe it's not your fault. Don't be scared, you are my rock. Nothing's gonna hold you down for long. Sometimes we break so beautiful, and you know you're not the only one. I breathe you in so sweet and powerful, like a wildfire burning up inside my lungs. I'm burning up, ooh, 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 ooh. I'm burning up, ooh, 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 ooh. I'm burning up. In good time, you'll come to know when you release, when you let go. You can find yourself where you belong. You're not a curse, you're not too much. You are needed here, you're enough. Nothing's gonna hold you down for long. Sometimes we break so beautiful, and you know you're not the only one. I breathe you in so sweet and powerful, like a wildfire burning up inside my lungs. I'm burning up, ooh, 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 ooh. I'm burning up, ooh, 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 ooh. I'm burning up. Darling, please don't give up. Drop your hate and sing for love. Let me be the one who sings along. Ooh, 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 ooh. Sometimes we break so beautiful. Ooh. Don't you know you're not the only one? I breathe in the wind so sweet, powerful, like a wildfire burning inside my lungs. I'm burning. Thank you guys for tuning in and watching and listening. Thanks for the questions. I hope to do this again really soon. And yeah, be good. And I will see you guys soon. Peace.